Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to go through order flow. Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to the using Bookmap and understand how to read what Bookmap is showing to understand the liquidity, the heat map. Therefore, we can start to understand the liquidity, not just from the trading dome in the current market environment, the here and the now, but also historically, which is very, very important to have that context and understand the how important it is liquidity is to trading. The market is made up of orders. That is just a fact. That is what makes it turn. It is the behavior of the participants in the order flow, the transactions, that creates the price action. This is what we can follow. This is what we're going to do in the live market here, and it's forward-looking analysis, not hindsight. So we'll read the current order flow and understand where price might go. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. One thing here that you might have seen this was open to the Bookmap Academy. And we had our Bookmap Academy meeting last night. If you guys are interested in that Bookmap Academy, I'll show you where you can sign up for it. Anyway, you can use your phone, take a screenshot of the QR code here. We also just put it into YouTube. Also, I believe here in the All Markets chat room in Discord. Good morning, everybody. Over in Discord, and yeah, you can click on that and or take your screenshot here and go sign up for this journaling product here, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. All right, so that's it. Let's jump in here and take a look at these markets. Like I said, a lot to cover here today, but look at this move after the non-farm this morning, 8:30 East Coast time. I mean, these markets, like, just it's crazy. Like, you see good news, the market goes up. You see bad news, the market goes up. It just goes up. I don't really quite get it, but this is the case here. Yeah, flag pattern in there. Looks like a few flag patterns, multiple flag patterns. Really beauty right here, real beauty, and might be doing it again right now. Stephen, looks great. Momentum to continue on up into 51.95, and we've got 5200 up here just above. A lot of liquidity up here at this 97.50 or whatever it is up here. This is in fact, Stephen, just to comment on this, that flag pattern that you're talking about and that we cover in our learning center strategy. Understanding the context of it is what's so key here, because the context is not so much about the flag pattern, it's about understanding the momentum. So understanding the impulse moves here, then a slight pullback due to a lack of selling. There's not too many interested sellers. In fact, it's mostly profit taking. And then what happens when we come back up here? We get more buyers and we're off to the races again. Okay, now we're gonna look at this here because you can see already it's starting to wane a little bit. Now we don't know; it might pick up, but look at the kind of the steepness of the moves here. Okay, steep, less steep. Also, it's not going quite as high. This one too, less steep, not going quite as high. Right, so yeah, no, you're doing the right thing to hesitate on this one here. We're getting up here pretty high. Now, not until we see something different though in the order flow. We stay with the trend. Okay, we just know that it's slowing down. That's all, right? But you see these, and especially guys. I mean, when it comes down to it, like, one of my mentors was a bank trader, forex bank trader, and uh, he very bluntly, I don't know if it was eloquently at all, very bluntly just stated, look, it is the fundamentals that move the market. You show me any chart and where a big move took place, and I'll show you a fundamental event that matches it. And he's spot on. It is the fundamentals that in the news that really moves the market here. The technicals, yeah, you get squeezes here and there, and different things that happen, but to kind of the really big moves are based off of fundamentals. Now, it might be fundamentals in other markets. Something happens in crude oil. Well, that's going to affect the stock market. This is why we also want to look at correlations and understand our correlated markets and what kind of effect they might take place. Now, we just had one of the biggest events and most one of the most complex events too is the FOMC, or the non-farm. Okay, so it's already unfolded, and we already see the reaction here. This move here is due to the employment data, right? So anyway, we gain the insight technically by understanding the orders in here, the participants' behavior, right? So that's where we can put these pieces together in order flow, and that's why order flow is so important. Okay, because we can understand like the reaction of others, and that's exactly what we are reading here and putting together. Now, look at this up here, Stephen. We're still looking for it. As we mentioned in here. Now let's look at some of the selling in here too. Okay, a little bit of a cluster here, but not much, right? And then still tons of buying, and then up in here though, this is a little bit odd now, right? We didn't go very high, and we see big selling here in here. Okay, so now I'm not saying that this move is over by far, not yet, but we do see the shift, a little bit of a shift here. This is something that I'm still working. I have one video done. I'll have another one soon for you guys on a reversal and how to read reversals and how they take place. It is this shift in the volume and the transactions in the order flow that will really give us that insight. I had an example here lined up actually for NASDAQ before the non-farm. I wanted to show you guys. It's a good example. And in fact, last night or at market close, we went over in the Bookmap Academy meeting. If you guys are interested in that, like, you can sign up. Just go to bookmap.com, and I think it's /academy. Anyway, the shift in the order flow. All right, this is how you can better be on the side more often when taking a reversal. All right, look at the volume on the way down here. Now, Rob, this answers a question that you had that I said I'd cover today as well. Okay, look at the move on the downside here. Look at the volume in the volume dots, which is a little hard to read. We can make them bigger here, but we know it's sell side, right? You see the big volume, you see the big move, you see some buying coming in, but more on the sell side. Nice little spike here, but more on the sell side, more on the sell side. Now we see a little bit of a switch here. If we draw a vertical line in here, okay, right there. Okay, look at the volume down here now. Sell side. Okay, now this is in hindsight, right? But we can start to gauge it in real time as well. Here's an interesting cluster. Where's the sell volume now? Well, it's just a little bit here. Okay, so this is where you can start to put your pieces together, and this is how you can read the volume bars, Rob. This is just one example. And I find them incredibly helpful. I see the dots here, but they're kind of spread out, right, over time here. This puts it into another context for me. I want to see this. I want to see this impulse move here. I want to understand that there is, a big move with strong buying behind it. But I also want to see it in another context down here in the volume delta bars here, and this is giving us great insight. Okay, here's the potential. You can see the trend break here. Okay, and this can lead to head and shoulders, double bottoms, double tops, whatever it might be. It's, again, it doesn't matter about the pattern. What matters is about the order flow here. And then it turned into several continuation patterns, Stephen. Okay, so anyway, this is on the NASDAQ. It showed it really nicely. Look for this transition and look for the players to support this transition. Okay, now this one is interesting here. Okay, we have a lot of buying coming in. All right, so buying comes up, and then well, it actually did complete a measured move in here. We'll measure it in just a second. Okay, but this is how we can start to understand the price action and order flow together with the structure, and look for it in your volume bars and dots, okay, within the structure. This is where those buyers came in hand over fist. Okay, now we can start to look at a measured move in here. Let's just go through in something like this here. Okay, take that, and then we're gonna move it on up to here, and start to try to align it with some liquidity. Well, here's a ton up here, and that's exactly where it went. Right now, I would be looking at the swing up here, and I'd be taking my profits up in here, to be honest. I look for the liquidity as well as the target, but I like the swings. I know there's going to be some liquidity up here too, and I'll zoom in and I'll take a look. And it has completed the move basically up here. Now, if depending on how you measure it. But something like this. So it could be a zone from on here on up to here, maybe even on up to where it dropped from here. Okay, almost made it here. Okay, I mean, it did ultimately up here. It came all the way back up to the swing. Okay, then it dropped, okay, so now I'm at the current market. Hold on a minute. Let me go back. All right. Hold on, I'm getting a little lost in here. But we had our non-farm though. All right, so anyway, this changed everything, and that's why this is exactly the point here. Who cares about technicals? When this unfolds here, it is everything to the left here. Well, not everything, but there are massive changes here now, and we want to understand the context after the event. That's what's key. All right, so anyway, that's something in NASDAQ I wanted to cover, and let's take a look at our I mean, you can see the NASDAQ here, like no reason to get out of this one either. Look at your volume again. Look at your impulse moves. Now we're going to get a pullback, okay, and look at the volume just taper off here on that buy side. Okay, seeing some sellers come in. All right, so let's take a look. Where might we get a pullback? Okay, and we'll mark it up, and we'll come back and take a look at the NASDAQ a little bit later. I'll put in some horizontal lines in here. Okay, one right here and the other one right here. Okay, now these horizontal lines are related to boy, I'm getting some real, yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to close. Like you can see my Bookmap down here it's being heavily used. I also have the ESM up. I know we're approaching rollover here, so I wanted to see what it looked like, but I'm gonna close it, and I might even have to close Apple and Tesla in here. We'll see how the Bookmap's handling this. I kind of have some computer issues at the moment, so I need to kind of clean some stuff up. Anyway, I'd like to keep a stock open. Oh, let's just keep, yeah, I'll get rid of Tesla. That ought to help. Okay. Let's go back to our ES. All right. So, here's it. You know, let's take off our footprint chart as well, down on the bottom here for now. Let's look at this transition here. Okay, are we getting it yet? Not really, right? Look at the strong buying in here, and then starting to kind of shift a little bit, and a little more selling now. Okay, all right, but we really need to see those sellers then come in now. If we're sell side, right? And I'm not 100% convinced on that one yet. But let's just mark it up. Okay, what are we looking for then? Okay, for a sell side, something like this. Okay, we're just testing that right now. All right, so then up here on this little pullback in here, okay, we're looking for maybe a pullback to just about here, 89, let's call it, and then rejection, sellers to come back in and then move lower here. Okay, but here we go. Now, is that the pullback we're looking for? No, it's not. In fact, it's starting to break that line, but look at the volume context here. This is not your low volume pullback. Okay, I mean, you know, I mean, I guess you could make a little bit of an argument for it as being low volume compared to this volume here. Maybe I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but it was starting to pick up here. So we're not convinced on it. We want to see it really dry up. We don't want to see a spike here in volume. We want to see it kind of dry up here. Right? This is another way to use it, Rob, to understand the again, volume context in bars and dots. Okay? The bars give you a lot of good insight. I like them. Now we can start to go through our scenarios in here. Okay, so what do we think about this right now? Well, it seems kind of more range bound than maybe it is turning into a low volume pullback. But if that is the case, we got to see a lot of selling here right now, and I do not see it yet. Okay, we may get it, but I would just let this one pass by. It's not worth it for me. Okay, so anyway, we get that selling in here, then we're looking for the drop. Well, first liquidity is here at 85, but I like the swing down here at this 81 area. Okay, yeah, thanks guys on the rollover info. It's getting there, and you know, you will note it immediately when you just open up your chart and you see that the liquidity looks odd in here. But then I just go to your contract spec and look up the overall volume for the day and open interest. Okay, from the CME. Just do a quick Google search for volume ES CME, and it'll pop up. Okay, and then take a look at the volume specs. Or open interest, maybe it depends, or both. You know, a lot of traders don't care so much about the volume flipping to the new contract. They care more about the open interest, which makes sense, but I just think it's harder to read the liquidity in Bookmap. All right, guys, well, let's see. So yeah, we're still kind of dribbling down here, starting to pick up a little bit now. Okay, so a little bit more volume in here, but yeah, it's still not the most convincing yet. We're starting to see that a little bit of that switch in here now in hindsight. Okay, we didn't like it so much when it came back up in here, and now we're starting to see more selling in here. So we have more likelihood of this starting to unfold to the downside now. Okay, it's not the greatest setup, but it's is starting to present. Okay, so anyway, let's see if we might get a bounce off of. Let's mark these up too. We got our 85 level here, and then 81 down here. Okay, so maybe we just start to turn into kind of range bound, but maybe we'll get our trend continuation. Okay, but it's just not fully there right now, in my view, for putting risk on for this. Okay, in fact, look at the big volume now starting to come in. Now, where do we think this volume will go then? Okay, well, back up to this little swing right here, 89, okay, 90, something like that. Okay, if you want to turn this into a range bound strategy as well, you can. Just understand this context in here, okay, along with your liquidity, and you have the liquidity here at 85 that it didn't quite trade to yet, right? So we're looking just for the move back up here to 85. Now, is that enough for putting some risk on? That's something you'll have to decide. Okay, and look at the volume context and the kind of shift in here as well. It's not bad. Okay, so maybe you can even get not only the move to 89 here, maybe this can kick off a bigger move up into 97, and maybe we can get to 5200 up here. Right, so these moves, like we talked about in the Academy meeting yesterday, these moves evolve into bigger moves. Okay, but right now, as you guys can see, we're just looking for that move up to 89, and that was it. So anyway, this is how we can put this context together. You know, this is something that one of the things I wanted to mention in here, like we talked about in the Academy meeting yesterday, is about criteria for your setups. This is the direction we're going to go more and more for the Academy, and what we recommend for the coaching and mentoring is have your criteria for your setup listed out. We want a checklist. Then you know what you're looking for, and that makes a huge difference. You know what you're looking for. Did it meet your did that criteria, was it met? If it is, then you can grade it as well, like we've been doing in here. We've been going, well, is it kind of this, is it kind of that? It's not bad, but it's not great. When it's great is when we want to get involved. All right, so through your criteria and your checklist, going through the order flow events in here, this is how you can really filter for prime opportunities. So that's something to consider. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna continue to lean that direction more and more. So your setup in here, your trade opportunity is going to be based on criteria. Okay, criteria-based trading opportunities. That's what we're looking for. Okay, whatever your criteria might be. Okay, we talked about a flag pattern or continuation, momentum move. What is the criteria? Yeah, Ali, we mentioned this earlier. Why is the NQ kind of cloudy like this? Like the ES. It's because it's approaching rollover. All right, so this happens every well, in this instrument it happens at every rollover period, which is quarterly. Okay, you'll see it on all markets in the futures, basically, okay, during the rollover period. All right, guys, so look at the move now, right? Not bad. Now we're getting a little bit more volume. Okay, so now we're looking for buyers to trade up to this swing. We have our trend line here, but I think maybe let's see if we got enough here, and do we have a measured move for coming up to 92 now? Now we're looking for 92, and like we said, this may evolve into a bigger move. Okay, so and we saw it starting here, and we're only looking for 89, and we're still in range bound environment, but look at the volume coming in. Okay, is this clear? Can you guys see this in the chart? It's, to me, this is crystal clear. I hope I'm explaining it well. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Happy to go through it. Okay, now we got our move to 92. I would take some off up here, especially, well, especially in hindsight now. And I may get back in, okay, if we see more buy volume. But in hindsight, right, which I didn't know at the time, right, up here, but look at how it kind of tapered off at the top. Okay, so I'm not finding the buyers up here looking for that bigger move at this time yet. And now it might turn into that, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, see how we got strong volume, good, nice, strong move. Look at the angle. And then we got up here and we have a smaller dot, right? At our level 2 that we were targeting to begin with. Therefore, take some off. All right. When would I switch over to the rollover? I'll be very honest about that. I look at the volume. I look at the heat map in Bookmap to give me that info. I use the, here I'll show you, it's just a really simple Google search for volume ES, or you want NQ, doesn't matter, right? Do the same thing, go to the contract spec in the CME, and you can see that there's on the H4 right now, but if we scroll down here, okay, volume, open interest, March contract, okay, it's by far the most still trading at the March contract, right? There's our information. The June contract, we're 200,000. It's just a small percentage of the March contract right now. Okay, but look at the open interest. See how like 90,000 was pulled now? There's less open interest, and 100,000 over here. So open interest is starting to roll over into the June contract. And that's how to do it. Okay, so understand, well, is it open interest, or is it volume, or is it both? This is where I just make the decision that since I'm day trading or looking at data for the day in here, then I don't need to worry about swing trade and holding like overnight. And if that's the case, then I want to trade the one that has the most volume. Right? Now, if you're swing trading, that's going to be different. You may consider going into a different contract. So it's up to you. And for those of you who are spread trading, that's even better. Can be a lot of opportunity in there. Right? Now, look in hindsight here. Okay. Well, we mentioned it though. This was our target. This is where, and we don't know if it's going to turn into a bigger move or not. But we saw this volume followed by this volume. We're looking for the move up to here, minimum, taking some off, stop at break even. You got stopped out at break even. Okay. Or another, there's so many different ways to manage it. You don't know if this is going to turn into that bigger trade, and maybe you see less volume up here, you take all profit. If you do, then you may have missed a really nice move to the upside. Okay? But you wouldn't have, you would also not get stopped out at break even on the rest of your trade. Okay, now, if you're trading one contract, or if you're all in, all out, well, then take what the market gives you. Take it off at 92, and you're done. Okay, look for the next one. It's a great way to trade, you look for your high probability opportunity or higher probability opportunity, and take your profit. And you can't worry about it though. This way, like you just do it again and again and again, and you continue to make profits. Okay, overall. The trade management part. Well, we actually went through an example yesterday with Crash F16. So we talked about how he took a trade that was that went against him, but due to, well, he saw his setup, he saw it starting to unfold, he took the trade, and then he managed it really well, and then it ended up like not working out, the move. Okay, but he took money out of the market, okay, because he understood how to manage the trade really well, and that's golden, right? So anyway, guys, just consider your trade management as well with your setup. In fact, that's where you're really going to make money. Once you understand your setup and you trust your setup and you know how to make some money out of it, it is the trade management that's going to make all the difference. Okay, that's where you're going to go from, being profitable into being highly profitable. It's just how it is. You use leverage for yourself, not against yourself. All right, this is starting to look at the volume coming in now. Okay, now we're down at our 85 level. All right, it looks like it really wants to come down to our 81 level. Look at the volume coming in now. Okay, so I'm looking for it, and I'm looking for taking some off down here at 81, maybe a little bit in front of it, 82. Okay, and that's it. All right, so let's take a look at our transition here. How's it working out? Okay, buy volume. Then we noted up in, no, it was up in here. There was a little bit of buy volume, but look at the little gap in here too. And then we saw some selling in here that we noted. Okay, look at the buy volume compared to previous buy volume in here. Look at it here. That's less volume at the high. Okay, cluster of selling. Look at the dots. Look at the bars. Okay, cluster of buying. Look at the dots. Look at the bars. Okay, can you guys see this transition taking place? Okay, now it's obviously it's easy in hindsight, but you can see it in real time too. And you can take some off and work into this. Like we were looking for that sell opportunity once we saw this big volume come in and this kind of lack of buy volume up in here, but it was this volume in here. Okay? We also have the order book on our side here too. Okay, look at the liquidity that just pulled now, but here at 88. Okay, more sellers. There's our move. All right. All right, so let's also cover a higher time frame in here. Okay, are you looking for a big move out of this, one way or the other? Well, let's see. Let's just zoom out a little bit more. We talked about a higher time frame yesterday too, in the Academy meeting. So you guys might want to revisit that one. Okay, look at our bigger picture now. Again, context. Let's look at market structure along with this this volume in here. Okay, now it puts in this volume into context here. Okay, down here in the bars. Okay, not bad. It's starting to pick up. Okay, but it hasn't really picked up yet, has it? Okay, so down to 85 or 80, 81 here. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe around 79. And then maybe that's it. Okay, maybe we'll get a bounce out of here and then start to rotate back up. We can look at other, start to draw some trend lines in here. Now, however you want to draw your trend lines, I have always been taught and believe in too, to draw your trend lines off of the price action like this, not to cut through anything like that. And so, but a lot of these times these work out as well. But anyway, we're going to delete it. Okay, so we're starting to hit that trend line now in this higher time frame. All right, so then what are we looking for down here? Okay, we're looking for a couple things. One is we're looking for high liquidity, which we know there already is here. We saw it earlier. That was our target for the way down and the lower time frame. Now we've got some technical lines in here too. Let's add a little bit more in here. I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to add another one. All right, not bad. Okay, so now we've got some ideas in here for a possible move to the upside due to the higher time frame. Okay, or maybe we're going to see the complete breakdown here. Okay, we said 79 would maybe be, let's just drop a line here, maybe the next level down here. Right now, the criteria that we've been mentioning in here has been well, it really is the same three always: volume, liquidity, and market structure. So what is our structure now? Okay, well, we just marked it up with some technical lines in here, and then what is our volume? Okay, well, we still see a lot on the sell side here. Okay, we do not see the buyers yet. Okay, but look at this little area in here compared to over here. Okay, a little bit of a cluster here. It's not really that good on the buy side yet. Okay, but here we go. Now we get some buyers coming in. Okay, is that enough? Okay, well, it broke our trend line. Okay, that's for sure. Maybe the next stop is up here, 88. Right. So now we can look for. Let's look for maybe a potential low volume pullback back down to about 85 here. And we might not get it. Okay, but that's what I'd look for. And we can draw another market structural line here. Okay, trend line. Boy, it's just going exponential. Yeah, so we have an idea here. We're looking for a pullback here. Okay, and then a potential continuation. Now this momentum move in here, you can see we have and look for this in your momentum moves. We see that the strong buying did come in. Okay, now this is a little bit in hindsight, but not much. You guys know we do this just about every single time, and I like these momentum moves. I think this is where you can just hop on the train, get off up here at 88, and then look for the next opportunity. Okay, the next opportunity is a pullback. Okay, and it just did our pullback. And what's the volume look like here? Okay, not many sellers. I see more buyers. There you go. So this would be an entry in here. Now, again, this is not a trade recommendation. Okay, this would be your entry in here, and then you're looking for the move back up to some of these other swings here. All right, so let's put in a measured move in. Okay, this would be our flag pattern, okay? And it would be something like this. And let's mark this up. So where might it go? Do we have anything up here? Okay, we don't have much liquidity. We're starting to see some come in, right? A little bit up here. Okay, we do have a kind of a shelf or a little area in here where it butted up against this area many times, and then it broke down. Okay, so maybe we can get a move back up to there. Now we just don't have a lot of liquidity up there. We have some, but anyway. All right, so it didn't work out. Okay, we would have been in here. You could put your stop to break even. This should work. This should work immediately. If this is a strong impulse move, you get your pullback, and we're looking for another strong impulse move. It didn't. Take the scratch. All right, look for the next one. Right, it would just be really, I mean, just try to keep it really clear and simple. Now, it still may work out. We don't know. But this was the setup we were looking for. Impulse move, low volume pullback, strong buying volume comes in again here. We're looking for it. Okay, it should do it. And it didn't. All right. Everything just kind of petered out up here, and then some selling comes back in. All right. That's a failed pattern in here. It didn't work. Okay, everything in here is textbook. It fits everything we're looking for, pretty much. It's not it's not everything, I should say. We're actually looking for a stronger impulse move, maybe up to here, and then the low volume pullback, less than 50% of the move here. It's a little bit more than 50% of the move in here. Okay, and that's why a lot of these times these things can fail, because you see the strong impulse move here, but it pulled back quite a bit. It means there's some selling in here too, and they're able to move it back down. If it's buying hand over fist, you get very little pullback. You get higher liquidity up at a higher level up in here, wanting to bid, trying to get into this trade. Okay, and in this case, you're not getting that. Okay, so we didn't have all the criteria here for our criteria. Okay, our criteria based trade here, and here's our setup. Okay, these are the things we're looking for. Okay, do we have trap traders in here? Yeah, we got that. That looks pretty good. We can probably give that an 8. And let's go through our checklist here. What about steep, large price movement, strong relative volume? Yep, we got that. Looks pretty good. I'd give it an 8. What about a measured move in here? It's we put it in. Do we have absorption? High liquidity? No. Okay, we didn't have that. Right. So we can check it, but we have to give it a like, I don't know, a low grade here for sure. Minor pullback. Well, no, we didn't have that either. Okay, in fact, we can give that a 2. Now you can see this isn't gonna fit our criteria for a really strong continuation flag pattern move here. Okay, and that's fine. We would just take this off the table. Okay, entry on our large volume dot in here. Well, we did get that. Okay, so anyway, at that point, do you want to take the trade? No. You have a 5 out of 8, or you want at least an 8 in here, and you didn't get it. Okay, so if we had an 8 in here, or something really high, then yeah, we would take the trade. Right now, it doesn't mean you can't take the trade. It didn't meet the criteria for this setup and this trade. All right, I hope this is making sense, and I would have looked at the same things in here again and again. All right, and take the scratch. This to me looks pretty good, and it's testing up here at 88. We get this minor or lower volume pullback, although the volume or the pullback is pretty strong. Okay? And then we're looking for that move back up to here, and we just didn't get it. Anyway. Let's see if I've answered a bunch of questions in here. Yeah, okay, I'm caught up in questions in YouTube. How am I doing over here in Discord? I think we're pretty good. Alan, you were using Market Pulse, and that it was the audio that brought you back to the computer screen. That's great. I mean, it's another kind of sensory input that we can get from Bookmap, hear the market, and then be able to be alerted here. It's rather valuable way to use a tool from multiple perspectives. All right. What's the difference between responsive buying or selling and trap traders? Well, trap traders are um, uh, they're the ones that we're looking for a stop run. Okay, in fact, they make up an impulse move typically. It's the we kind of argued a little bit about this. I'm sticking to my guns on this about responsive buying and selling. It's more of prices too high. There you'll find sellers respond to that to drive it back into a value area. It's an opportunity. There's no reason. It maybe it was a technical reason that price went up too high. And it was outside of a range or at the top of a range, and then it was responsive selling to bring it back into that range or high volume node. Okay, meaning technically just back to where it can transact because it was transacting there for a long time. Okay, or if price is too low, it's on sale. There's a technical reason for it. Maybe bottom of a range, etc., and then you'll find buyers come in and bring it back up into an area where it can transact, and that's it. All right, let's see. No, trap traders are they're the ones that like are a part of the impulse move. Yeah, they're the ones that drive it away from an area because they're compelled to get out of the position because they're trapped. Okay, so let's look at this area in here and in this range here, and talk about potential trap traders, guys. Let me clear the lines in here. Here's what I mean. All right, potential trap sellers here, potential trap buyers here, potential trap sellers and sellers. All right, so the scenario is this: what if we can get back up above here? What if these buyers in here, and there's not a whole lot, right, that are trapped, not a whole lot. Okay, this answers your question, Rob, that you talked about as well. What is trap buying and selling? Well, we're identifying it right here. So look at this beautiful scenario. If we can get up here, now, in fact, you can even look for trading it up to here, okay, and seeing if you can get a squeeze if you see some sort of setup in here. Criteria to make a justification for a trade, back up to here, take some off, but maybe hold for a bigger move. Now it's there's always risk, but you got to see something good in here for that to unfold. Maybe it's high liquidity, maybe it's the buy volume up here, etc. Do we have a lot of selling up here? No, not yet. Right, but we're not sure who's going to be trapped yet because we're right in the middle. Okay, but we have a real nice one of all these sellers in here. So let's see if we can get a bit more buying right now and get the squeeze going. And now, what are we looking for in that squeeze then? Well, we're not looking for sellers here. Okay, we're looking for buyers instead, right? To move away from a point of control here. Okay, so we want to see a lot of buyers come in, not sellers. Okay, we want to see high liquidity on the bid, high liquidity pulled on the offer, and then followed by aggressive buyers in here, green dots. Here we go. All right, now this is set up pretty nicely and looking for the move up to here, 87 here. Okay, so just to 87 right now, or 88 maybe. And that's it. And now again, this is not a trade recommendation, and we don't have a whole lot of criteria. The only criteria that we're talking about right now is trap buyers and sellers, and in this case, sellers, and where they will be compelled to buy. Okay, and that will create the impulse move, help create the impulse move. It's not just aggressive buyers saying like, "Wow, you know, let's go back to the reevaluation of this uptrend here, and you know, something moving the market. It's also, you know, sellers in here that are saying, well, if it comes back up in here, I'm out. Here they come. It's looking good. Okay, let's get up to this 88 level here. We're almost there, 1 point away. Okay, and then we can look for now a really nice move here, potentially. Okay, not just to 88. We can look for a breakout up into 92 and beyond. Okay, so now if you got in here, you're sitting pretty well, right? Now, and we talked about it. I mean, we're not making this stuff up. You have, you know, there was some criteria in here, and we talked about trading up to a level, taking some off, holding, and then maybe, you know, getting back in on a pullback or something like that, if there's justification for it. Right? Again, we have to have the right criteria here, but this is the trade idea. Again, this is all hypothetical right now. It's, you know, this is not a trading room, right? But we're going through the process in here, and then you can put this into a trading plan. Your job would be then to take this criteria that we're discussing and put it into your setup checklist here. Okay, mark it off, grade it, look for your entry, and then trade it. Okay, based off of criteria. This will make the distinction. All right, so now we would have taken some off up here, right? Okay, great. So stop at break even. We might have even gotten stopped out at break even already. So there you go, right? Now we can also look for another potential move here. Okay, it's a smaller kind of fractal move here. Okay, so this is your low volume pullback here, and let's just put some context here. See the buying in here. Look at the selling. Okay, so now we're looking for more buying to trade back up to here, and then a breakout, potential breakout. Okay, so let's see if we can get that, and we can get this continuation move on up into 92. Well, it's not ready yet. It's back and forth in here. We can also look at the opposite now. This is where we really want to be, you want to be attentive to your trap traders. Well, what about these guys up here? These buyers. Well, they're going to be trapped if we get down below here, 85. Okay, so did I answer your question, Alan, about the trap traders, responsive buyers, sellers, impulse moves? The key here is to look for that criteria and clarity. Okay, look at this here. We got more buyers back up here. Okay, now what else do we have though? Okay, well, it's kind of rollover period. Our liquidity heat map is kind of messed up, right? So, you know, do you want to trade during this period? That's a whole nother question. Okay, volume wise, let's just take the heat map off for a moment. Volume wise, yeah, it's looking pretty good, I guess. Like, I would have liked to have seen a little more cluster here, but they're starting to pick up here. Okay, so yeah, it's not bad. Let's put a little more structure on it. Okay, so this is another pullback here. We're still in the trend. Okay, and we have our structure here at 85 horizontal line. Okay, and then we also have these trend lines. Okay, now look at it. Now who's trapped potentially? And this happens all day long. That's why we want clarity in here. You don't want to drive yourself nuts about this stuff. So potential trap is these guys at the top of the range and these guys at the top of the range. Okay. Now we've seen this a million times. These guys are also potentially trapped. Okay, they're trying to drive it away from this area here. Or this is your responsive selling in here. Okay, so we didn't really get a whole lot of clarity on this one for this continuation move. Okay, this cluster is looking pretty good, but we mentioned we want to see more up here as well. And the heat map, we didn't have the heat map on our side either. Okay, so now we can see who won the battle here. Okay, in hindsight, but that's why we developed the scenarios in here. What if we do break this on sell volume? And now we had our sellers come in, we had the move back up here, and then the sellers came back in again and moved it down to the bottom of the range. So we can explain it all day long, but we want to see it in real time, and we want to get that insight for a trade opportunity, and that's the forward-looking analysis in here. Right, and that scenario can still work out. What about down at the bottom edge in this area in here? How does it look? It's not all that great. I mean, we do have this selling in here, as we mentioned, and we do have these guys kind of trapped here. Now this can actually play into something that slowdown looks at, and that would be your Wyckoff spring. Okay, which means that you just kind of like peak below, you go below the level here. Usually it's a stop run below, and then it comes right back in, and you see buying come right back in hard, and they'll move it up to point of control, other side of the range, and potentially break it. Okay, sellers were able to break it. Should see a stop run here. Okay, it's these buyers that actually ended up being trapped. Okay, the sellers were probably just on pins and needles up in here. And look where the selling came in here, right? This is where you can really match up your, the volume dots can be very, very helpful. Understanding the power behind the moves, where it initiated, and then where it was tested here. If we got a little bit more buying in here, we could have had a real nice move to the upside. If there was more sellers trapped in here, it ended up the sellers won the battle here. Okay, our stop run here is the buying that's trapped in here. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Anyway, now look where we're trading back down to. This is the first stop, and see this little jag here in the price action. Okay, and also another level here, but that's not a really great level. I like this one. All right, let's take a look at this, and why this level. Let's go through it. Well, look how we got a move up, a pullback, and then a strong move. So we're trading down to this level here. I would anticipate a bounce here, and then a potential pullback. It could turn into something else, but a pullback maybe back up to like 81. Okay, because this is where we know there was buying pressure. Okay, so we're going to get some profit taking down here, and we may get more buyers support this move. Okay, so what's the it's a counter trend move at this point from this time frame in here. However, we're just looking for a move back up to a structural level here, and that's it. And we didn't even get it. Right. So this again, like, can help with your criteria and your trade selection. The sellers are moving this market in control. Do you want to take this as a pullback move back up to here? You're fighting against the current here, right, on this time frame. Now, that said, this could be, maybe we get a reversal pattern down here. Okay, if we get a reversal pattern down here, then it's not a pullback any longer. We're actually looking for those buyers on this time frame back here to move that market back up. Okay, that's what we'd be looking for. Now, we're not getting it. We're not seeing that. Okay? In fact, we're getting more sellers in here. Okay, back to our discussion. Look at the dots and look at the bars. There's more sellers still moving that market lower. Okay, let's take a look here now. Now let's go through our other scenarios in here. We're looking for maybe a potential small or low time frame reversal in here and a move back up to some of these levels here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we already know our horizontal lines here. Now we're looking for our buyers. Okay, looking pretty good. A little bit, just to move back up to like 78 here is all we're looking for right now. Okay, and then probably another pullback. Look at our volume context in here. Okay, bars and dots. Again, it's not ready yet. If we're looking for buy side, we're not ready yet. Okay, we're looking for this transition and shift in the market. Okay, in the order flow and the transactions, and that shift is not, we're looking for it, but it's not there yet. Okay, so what do? Well, then you're still sell side. Okay, you're kind of transitioning from sell side into sideways market, basically. Rob, I was in, see who else. Oh, Alan, Rob, Steven, I mean, or everybody. Another thing to do is like make sure that you record your data files when you start Bookmap in the morning or whenever you start it, and then go back and replay this in replay mode. And look for these things again and again and again. Go through your grading of your setup and your criteria based opportunity. Go through it again and again and again. This is how you can, this is the best way to become an expert at your setup, is by understanding the criteria and adjusting it, right? The more that you go through it in replay mode, the more opportunity you'll be able to see when it unfolds in real time. All right, so take a look at it now. All right, so we were looking for it, but we also said no, we are staying sell side in here until we see something more, but we're looking for it. And why are we looking for it? Because we're flattened out here and looking for those buyers, potential buyers in here. Now, this looks like continuation here. Look at, there's a lot of selling coming in now again. Okay, so this was just kind of a move, a pullback, looking for it. Now we're looking for a potential reversal pattern here because of the buying in here. Okay? Well, that didn't unfold. Right? Instead, we're getting our answer here, and we already were saying we're looking for it. We had some ideas, but we didn't see it in the criteria yet. Okay? It was more sell side. We're staying sell side. We noted we are transitioning though from a strong move to the downside to flattening out potentially. And there, let's just mark it up to be sure. Okay, here's our high here, and we're making still lower high. Here's our low, and here's our lower low. We're still making lower low. Okay, so our structure was not there. We had to test here at 78, and we need to see it broken as well for a reversal, and we need to see that buy volume transition. Okay? And we don't see that here. Okay, we're looking for it, and we didn't see it. Okay, we stay sell side. Right? It's a hard thing to do, is to stick with the trend a lot of times. A lot of us retail traders are always trying to catch the bottom of a move, etc. And it's just it is painful. It is much better to try to get the habit of staying with the bigger picture. Well, the bigger picture from this time frame, I should say, right? See any other questions? Yeah, exactly, Rob. This is why, Rob, this is exactly why the first strategy that we covered in here was, in the Bookmap Learning Center. Let me show you guys, for those of you who are new in here. The reason that we covered the flag or continuation pattern here is to get good at momentum. It is the easiest way, I feel, to take some money out of the market. So anyway, go to education from bookmap.com here. I go to education, strategies and setups, and then our continuation momentum strategies here. And this is what we're looking for, right? That consolidation, those trap traders, the impulse move, the pullback, followed by another impulse move. Okay? And this criteria in here is what we were covering a few different times. And how it didn't play out, but we managed the trade, hypothetically, and we managed it. Now, look at down here, okay? Did we make a lower low? Yeah, slightly. Okay, are we making a higher high in here? It's testing it. Yeah, it is so far. Let's look at the volume in here. No, I'm staying away from it. This is not something I'm looking for right now. Okay, I'm looking for sellers to come back in here and trade it right back down into the range here. Okay, now we don't know if we make it just some sort of kind of V bottom out of this, or double bottom down here. Okay, we don't know. But do I want to put risk on this? No. I want to see that transition. I want the buyers to tell me that they're coming in. I want the liquidity to tell me that we want to buy, and they are buying. We want to see it transact at high liquidity. Then we can look for a move back up into our 78 level up here. Okay, again, look at this volume in here. Okay, it broke this area here. And like I said, we don't know. All of a sudden, there might be tremendous buying that comes in here at 73. But this is looking pretty bad right now. So I would look for sellers to try to drive it right back down into at least this kind of like 69 area here. All right, if that is the case, then what are we looking for? Even for a small trade in here, let's look for our structure to break. Okay, and we're looking for our sellers right now. Okay, and the heat map is, like I said, during rollover, it doesn't really help us too much. But all right, we're getting our sellers here. Okay, sellers, let's see if you can you drop it right back down to 70 or 69 here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, due to the criteria in here in the volume bars and dots. Guys, get good at understanding this criteria and putting together a few strategies, and you'll just see it again and again. What is it? I think it was Donkey was talking in the or someone put the in the Bookmap Academy chat. I don't know who it was. It was it was a great quote though. It was a Bruce Lee quote of I'm not worried about the fighter or the opponent that has practiced 10,000 different kicks. I'm worried about the opponent that has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Okay, so get good at some of this criteria in here and you'll own it. You'll look for your setups. You'll be able to read these markets. You'll understand how these markets work really, really well by understanding these three components really. Order flow in the order book, and how it relates to the price action or structure and the transactions. That's it. All the patterns are made up out of that. Your volume profile patterns are made out of that. Everything is made out of that. In fact, volume profile is only made out of really the transactions, okay, and price action. But that's it. It is creating its own structure based off of the accumulation of volume, okay, or maybe or time if you're looking at market profile. Okay, so what was our criteria in here, right? Looking for that volume. Now, again, this is not enough to lean on for a real full-blown setup, okay, but it's a starting point to put together for your setup and using that setups checklist in here. Guys, you can make your own in here. Just click on settings in here and import your own, or you can modify one and save it, and then you have your own criteria in here that you can grade and look for your setup, and you're on your way. Okay, and see how we're looking for that criteria in here. We didn't get it. We're looking actually for the break of the trend line, sellers to come in, and then the move down to 69 or so here. Okay, well, look what it's done. It's not only done that, it's come back down to the bottom of the range here at 67 or so. Okay, and then now we're getting more sellers here. Okay, are they able to drive this? I don't know about that yet. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a false breakdown. Okay, because look at the volume in this area in here. Here, let's just mark it up. Okay, from here on. Okay, how does that compare to over here? Right? Well, not so great. So now a potential false breakdown here. Okay, this would be our false breakdown. And buyers to come back in and to trade right back up here to our 69 level or 72 level up here is higher. Okay, that potential is higher due to the lack of selling in this area in here that we're noting. right? So this would be, let's see if this turns into a false breakdown, and let's see if we get enough buyers now in buying interest in here to bring it back up to, I like this area here at our 69 level here a lot. Okay, that would be the first area, but maybe we can get even higher than that. Okay, so here come the buyers. It's not a whole lot, okay, but it's not bad though. Look at the relative volume in here in context. Sellers, buyers. Sellers break down, buyers bring it right back in. Okay, now I'm really interested right here in this little this area here. Okay, if we can get our buyers back up here, then I think we have a higher probability of reaching back to this kind of 69, 70 level, and maybe back up even higher. Okay, there they are. So now we're looking for that continuation, or the first stop is up here. Okay, now I know that's not a whole lot though, but this can turn into a bigger move up into 72 or 75 up here. Okay, makes sense. Now, you know, we don't need a whole lot of fancy tools in here to understand this context. You don't have to look at all these indicators to get this insight here. Okay, these indicators and other tools are excellent confluences, okay, to give you that additional insight. One of the things in here, guys, I wanted to also go through some trading in here. Now, I don't have any trading from today. Well, actually, here, let me show you something in here. Let me show you that trade management tool. I'm sorry, the trading journal tool, and we'll go through some trade management as well. All right, so you know, just a position of one here, bracketed orders, and I can trade from the chart, the dome, or both. All right, so let me oh yeah, I want to go into you do have this in here as well in your add-ons, trading statistics. If you don't see it, go to your manage add-ons here, click on that, and you'll see it probably down here someplace. Here's a new one. It looks like here, trading statistics. That or maybe I'm using yeah, I think I'm using a special one. Otherwise, this is and just click on install here. Right, so and you're good to go. All right, now what you can do is here, let me you got to come back in here and you got to select it. Once you select it, you'll see the options in here, and you can open up your web journal here. Okay, check the box, open up your web journal here. Okay, click on that, and that opens it up here. Okay, and then I'll open it up. Right, so here I go, and this is my trading journal. Okay, up here you can select the dates that you want. It shows your biggest winner, your biggest loser, your total wins, your total losses, your profit ratio. Look at this, pretty horrible. Well, it's not horrible. It depends on your trading style. But I'm a winner 43% of the time. I'm a loser. Well, what is it? 57% of the time. Okay. But I'm taking small losses. Okay, average win is 503. Average loser is 200. Right. So I've got like a 2.5 to ratio here on those winners. Right. So this will bring up the trading statistics add-on here. Guys, use these tools. This is how you're going to get really good at not only, now we've covered in here setups and criteria and looking for certain things to unfold potentially. okay, and why. Okay, that's understanding how these markets work and operate, and and then to integrate your setup criteria into that. Okay, now we're talking about trading, and we're talking about entries, exits, trade management, and performance here. Okay, you will need to have this open. Do not close this window. Just minimize it. Okay, and then you can see down here under Bookmap, if I click on it, it opens up my Bookmap here and my trading statistics here. If you trade multiple instruments like the ES and the NQ and some stocks, you will need to open up the trading statistics add-on for each one. Okay, that's how it works, right? So then when you trade here, let's just open another one up for NASDAQ here. So I'll click on NASDAQ, okay, and then I'll go to my add-ons here, and see how I need to select it here. So select it, and it pops up, right? And let's minimize it, close this. Now on my Bookmap, you can see I have 2 trading statistics windows here, right? So now I can trade off of either of them, and they will be recorded in my trading journal here. Okay, so let's open it. I'll show you here. We'll take a few positions. Again, this is for demo. This is not a trade recommendation. Okay, you can use your bracketed orders, whatever it is you want. Okay, we'll demo the brackets. Another thing too, click on the little pin here. Okay, that means that when I click back to, so you see how I click back to NASDAQ and it's off here. Okay, that's by design, but if you pin it, you come back to these here, you'll see that it is still open now, right? It's a protective measure so that you don't take a trade by accident here. All right, so anyway, all right, now I've got it. Okay, so now I'm all set up. All right, so and then let's take a quick look in here and see what we see. Well, what do we see? Well, it's pretty back and it's turning into kind of a bit more back and forth, a bit more on the sell side here. All right, so let's see then. All right, so we'd look for sellers to come in here and then try to. And we're not now. Again, this is demo only. I'm not seeing too much, but I would lean on the sell side here, and then maybe even down to just the bottom of the range here. Okay, it's not playing out. It's not what I'm looking for. I am out. Okay. Let's see here. Actually, came back up. False breakout. Some selling. Okay. If I see buyers come back up here, I am out. Okay, didn't work out. Okay, and that's that. Okay, we're not looking for much, just there. Okay, there's our move. There, we're out of the market. That's that. Now, let's go over to the trade journal here, and then we will go to, see, you get your pages down here. Okay, we'll go to page 8, and then here's that last trade here, 11:27, right? 11:28 here, 11:27, 20 seconds, ES H4, 1 position, my entry, my exit, my profit and loss. The type here was a sell, my maximum favorable excursions, and then maximum adverse excursions. This is not a very good ratio to have here. Okay, my profit is, well, 5, and it went against me 9. Okay, not good. Look at some of these up here: 45 to 2, 17 to 1, 9 to 3. Here's a bad one: 0. I caught the high here, and it went directly against me and stopped me out. Okay, for a loss of 250 here. Okay, that's a pretty big loss in here for comparing these numbers in here. Okay, not very good trade management in here. Now this was also because of a size of 2 compared to 1 or so. Anyway, guys, this is what we're going to do more and more of, getting more involved into the trading elements here. We've been talking about these markets for a long time. So now we want to get in, especially in the Bookmap Academy, want to get more involved into the trade management side, and we got the tools for it as well. Let's go over to NASDAQ. I want to take one position in here again as a demo, and let's just take a quick look here. Now, I didn't even look at the NASDAQ much, so I don't even, no, we're going to look at the order flow here and now and look for something to unfold here for us. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, let's go sell side, and pretty tight stops in here. Let's just get out of it. All right, so there we go. Good timing on that one. But we had our reasons for it to go lower, and now we can see it just came down and then it pulled immediately back. This is nothing to cover here. What we want to cover is this. Now you can see I have my NASDAQ here. Okay, so what did I get out of this one here? Right, so 11:30, I was in this trade for 14 seconds, and max size 1, my entry, my exit, my profit and loss. It was a sell side. Funny enough, it went 35 ticks in my direction, and it went 4 against me. 35? Did it really? That might be an error. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Is it 98 on up down to yeah, okay, so we're talking ticks though. All right, so anyway guys, start playing around with these tools. Again, if you're interested in this, this is where you can get it. Okay, take your screenshot here, or Dan has put the link in for you guys, and you can demo this. And the trading statistics you already have. Remember, you have to have it open. Okay, when you start to do this, and journal your trading like this, we can give much better feedback now. Okay, this is just minimum viable product with this new trading journal here. We're going to build it out a lot more. You'll have all sorts of things: times a day, how long you're in a trade, and your losers and your winners, etc. You can see this is just a foundation right now, but this will allow you to really get into the nuts and bolts of what's going on in your trading. Yep. Rob, use it in replay mode. Yeah, there you go. Excellent. And take it again and again and again. Okay, this is going to help so much. Right? You want to bring your trading to the next level. This will help. All right. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. If you guys like this, please hit the like button. That really helps us out. Let me see if there's any questions over in YouTube land, and we'll take it from there. Yeah, no, very quiet and questions over there in YouTube. Okay, no problem. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday and go through this stuff again. I highly recommend that you play around with some of these trading tools, and we're going to go over more and more about not only the criteria in your trading setup, and then the trading management along with it. Okay? Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.